Hi guys, today I thought I'd show you how to do what I'm going to call my ocean waves Mokume Gane. Somebody asked me in my group if I could try and figure out a way to do it. So I figured out a way to do it. It's very simple, it's very straightforward, nothing to it really, but I wanted to show you anyway. And what you're going to need is some white clay, translucent clay, and translucent mixed with, I'm using Jade souffle, and another piece of translucent mixed with peacock pearl blue. I'll explain a little bit more about that in a second. You're also going to need some silver leaf, a square cutter, cutters of your choice for your pendants or earrings, a rigid blade, a sharp flexible blade, an acrylic roller, and something that you can poke into the stack. I'm just going to be using this paintbrush. So just back to the clay quickly. So I've cut a chunk of translucent and I'm going to roll it out onto a number 3. This piece is a very translucent piece, so you are going to be using more translucent clay than anything else. So I'm going to roll that out onto a number 3. I've got a lump of white here and I'm going to roll that out onto a number 7 because I want that to be minimal within the piece. And like I said, I've got a chunk of translucent and I'm adding a pea size of the jade, and the same with this, a chunk of translucent and a pea size of the peacock blue. Like I said, you can use any greens or blues that you would like for this, and these are going to be rolled out onto a number 4. You're really just going to be rolling out enough to make 4 or 5 of these squares and then stack them. So once I've conditioned all this, I'll be back. Okay, so I've rolled all the pieces of clay out, and just to recap, I've got some white rolled out onto a number 7. I've mixed the colours into the translucent and they've been rolled out onto a number 4, and the pure translucent has been rolled out onto a number 5. I'm just going to take my little square cutter and cut some squares out. 4 or 5 pieces should do it. So that's the translucent. And then the same for this. And again, 4 pieces should do it. There's no specific signs to this, guys. It's fairly random. Just so long as you roll out to the thicknesses that I say, and that's fine. It doesn't really matter which order you stack them or anything like that. So just to be clear, and I'll cut some squares out on this one. And of course you can make as much of this as you want anyway, so if you wanted to cut out 10 squares, that's fine. And then last but not least, the white. And I rolled out way too much white, of course, but I'll just cut out 4 pieces. So they're all the squares that you're going to need, and then it's just a case of stacking the squares. So I'm just going to do the white and then the translucent, and then on top of the translucent I'm going to add this silver leaf. It is easier to work with the sheets, I guess, for this, but this is all I've got, so it gets a little messy. I'm not being perfect about it, I'm just slapping it on there. Okay, so that's that first piece of translucent covered, and then I'm just going to start adding the colours. Another piece of trans. Oops. And again some more silver leaf. This stuff does get a little bit clumped together, but again, I don't really care. I'm just smushing it on there. And then I'm just going to add another piece of this white. And then I'm going to add some more colour. Another translucent. You wouldn't believe how messy my desk looks right now. It's a good job you can only see this part of it, to be honest. Okay, so I'm just going to add the white. Just keep stacking until you've used up all your pieces of clay. And added your silver leaf on top of the trans. Although I don't suppose it really matters if you added the trans on top of the colour. I don't think it really matters. Like I say, there's no real science behind this. And then what we got left? Let me think. Let's go with this one. Let's throw that white in there. Colour, trans, more silver leaf. Oh my gosh, this is going everywhere. And then the last piece of colour. And that's that. Let me get rid of this silver leaf. It's driving me crazy. Okay. So now you've got your stack. We just need to make sure it's all nicely stuck together. I'm just going to pick up these pieces here. So just take your stack and make sure it's all nicely stuck together. And it does take a little bit of work because the silver leaf wants to resist sticking to the clay, but just keep working with it. Just squish it out a little bit. And I'm going to take my roller, give it a roll. Like so. And then I'm going to cut in half and stack. Just getting rid of some of this stuff that's stuck on my fingers. And then squish together again. Give it another roll. And then cut in, not that, where did that other one go? There it is. Cut that in half and stack again. And that's as many times as I am going to cut and stack. Okay, so now we've got this little block and we're going to just mess with it. We're just going to squish it, distort it, just be brutal with it and push in like this and push that into the center. Do whatever you can think of to just distort it. Push the corners up into the middle, give it a squish, give it a mush. Don't be gentle with it, just deform it. So you can see it's quite deformed. I can go from the bottom and do the same thing. And when you're happy with that, just get something that you can poke into the clay, into the stack. And like I said, I'm just using this paintbrush, and just push it in as deep as you can, because we're trying to get like a rippled effect. And once you've done that, just push it all back together. Give it a roll, and then you can go on the other side and do the same thing. Just push in again, just impress something into it to make these ridges like that. And then once again, just squish it all back together into a nice little square block. And that's pretty much it. I'm just going to give this a little roll. And that's really all there is to it, guys, for the block. So that's that, and I'm just going to go and roll out some translucent clay for a backing, clean up a little bit, and once I've done that I shall be back. Okay, so I've rolled out my piece of backing clay, and I've rolled it onto the thickest setting on my pasta machine, and now it's time to slice into this baby. Okay, just giving it another little squish just to get it nice and neat. And I just need my blade, and what I'm going to do is take, now you can do this in different ways. You can take a slice like this and literally just use that as your pendant, just put it onto a piece of backing clay. It's entirely up to you, but for the purpose of this video I'm just going to take some slices and stick it down onto my tile, and then I'm going to take my very sharp flexible blade and I'm going to literally take tissue thin slices from this slice, and then just start to lay it onto my, let's move this over, lay this onto my backing clay like this. So you're actually going to get, if you do it this way, you're actually going to get a ton load of pieces from it. But because I want this to be very translucent, I am cutting very, very thin, fragile pieces from the slice. And obviously, as you keep cutting down, you're going to get a little bit of a different pattern each time you cut through. So I'm just going to keep doing that and then just adding it to my backing, and you can even overlap them a little bit if you want to. Just other little pieces here and there. Oops, just stick it wherever. And another little piece. And they don't have to be really neat pieces either. If you want to have that kind of crashing wave look, it's going to be kind of little random squiggles and things. And just keep doing that until you're happy. And I think that's all I'm going to do. Maybe just one more little piece here and there. Okay, I think that's good. And that's all I'm going to do for this first pendant. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to roll over to make sure it's really nice and smooth. And I'm going to get it very, very flush to the translucent clay, especially on this part here, because I want it to be completely blended in and perfectly smooth. A bit like I did with my blended Mokume Gane. You may have seen it, you may not have seen it, but yeah. So just roll the clay, make sure it's smooth, and then give it a really, really, really good burnish. You want to make sure it is perfectly smooth, that there's no seam or anything like that. It's been blended perfectly into that translucent clay. So just give it a quick burnish, or a nice firm burnish, and then just check to see that it's perfectly smooth. Just a little bit more. And I think that's good, and I'm just going to lift this a little bit, and then I'm going to take my cutter, and I've finally got some new cutters that I actually like. So I'm going to take my cutter, but I don't want the whole piece covered with the blue slices. I want it so it's gradually going into the translucent, like so. So I'm just going to bring it over here, just check. And then I'm going to take my block and give it a cut. And it's as simple as that. So I've got this nice little ocean wavy look crashing onto the translucent clay. So that's that one. I don't think I've got enough to fit another cutter on there, which is a shame, but I'll do something with that another time. Of course, you don't have to use translucent as a backing. You could tint it with a blue and then lay over the slices, or you don't even have to use translucent. You could use a white backing, whatever it is you wanted to do. So I think that's all I'm going to do for today, just show you quickly one pendant, and then I'm going to go and bake that one and make sure the edges are nice and smooth, and I'll resin it, and once I've finished I'll be back. Hi guys, so I've baked the pendant and resined it, and I've also added these little stones on there as well. Just pushed a jump ring through and added the little beads. So that's that one. I also made these little earrings, and the same thing, just made these little stones to go over the hoops. So that's those, and I did resin them. I just wanted to show you some other ones that I made from a different batch. This is one that I made from a different batch, very similar to this one, but like with any Mokume Gane, you are going to get somewhat of a different look. But this is from today, and this is one that I did before. I also made this one today from the batch that I made today, a bigger pendant and some more little stones hanging off there. I know it's fall and they do look a bit summery, but still they're nice. And then I thought I'd show you another one that I did, but I didn't obviously do it over translucent, I did it over white, so again just a little bit of a different look, but that really does look like waves crashing onto the sand or something. So there's that one. And then I did another shape, and the backing for this one I tinted with a little bit of blue. So this isn't as translucent, but it is still translucent. Okay, so I just thought I'd show you all of them to give you a few different options there. And that's all there is for today, guys. Or before I go, thank you once again to all my subscribers. If you haven't already subscribed, I'd really appreciate it if you did. Give me a thumbs up. And thank you all so much, and I shall catch you later. Bye.